Welcome to the video, everybody. Today I'm going to take you through the 9 biggest differences that you will experience between driving in the UK compared to driving on the roads in France. If you're visiting France from the UK, the chances are you're coming over either on the ferry or on the Channel Tunnel with your car. You could of course be flying, in which case there's a good chance you're going to be hiring a car from the airport. However you're getting here, assuming you're going to be in a car, then you're going to find this video of interest. Whilst there are many similarities in driving between the UK and driving in France, there are some very key differences that are pretty important to know. So with that, let's get into the video and look at these top 9 differences. Now, these are in no particular order, although perhaps the last one I have saved because that is, for me, the most difficult one to get my head around and always has been since I've been driving in France. Now, at number 9, we have stopping at a stop sign. Quite often you'll come to the end of a road in France and you will see a stop sign. Now, in the UK, if you came to the end of a side turning, for example, and you looked around, you could see that it was all completely clear. You might actually not completely stop the car and you just drift forward and turn onto the road and continue on your way. Now in France, even if you can see that it is completely safe, completely clear and there is nothing around, if you have a stop sign, you must stop at the stop sign. If you don't, and there happens to be a policeman nearby, then I'm afraid you do risk getting a fine and points on your license. At number 8, we have use of indicators. Now, in fairness to France, I think that the use of indicators has improved significantly in the last 10 years or so. However, there is still quite a large number of people who really don't use them very well. And what this materializes as is you'll, for example, be following somebody down the road, and the first you know that they are about to actually do a maneuver of some sort is when they do it. They might then indicate, but quite often you will get no warning whatsoever, and the only guidance you have is based on their road position, their speed and what's happening. You cannot rely on people to actually use their indicators to tell you what they're going to do. At number 7, we have pedestrian crossings after traffic lights. Now, I experienced this twice in driving into Perpignan each day. And what I find is I'm at a set of traffic lights, normally waiting. They go green, I turn, and actually then within 20-30 meters, there is in fact a pedestrian crossing controlled by traffic lights. So pedestrians have a little red or green man to say whether they can cross or not, and I have lights. Often there's nobody on the crossing and I can continue, but occasionally there is somebody, and it is very easy to think I've got a green light, I can go, and to forget that actually you might have to stop within 20 or 30 meters because of this pedestrian crossing. So pay attention, really keep your eyes open and look out for these additional sets of traffic lights that sometimes appear just after the set of traffic lights you're at. At number 6, we have roundabout lane control. It's a hard one in a way, because quite often, frankly, to me, there is no lane control. And you will find people, let's for example say you're approaching a roundabout, you've got 2 lanes. Typically what you'd expect, somebody in the inside lane is either going to be turning right or they're going to be going straight over. Now, what you will frequently find, in fact, is that person in the inside lane has every intention of going all the way around, taking the 3rd exit, or in fact coming back on themselves, and it's completely normal. They also won't indicate, I'm afraid, for this. So on the same line of thought, you will find people in the outside lane who you might think are going to go left or come back on themselves, who actually want to come off at the 1st exit. This is a common thing, particularly the going all the way around a roundabout or taking the 3rd exit. That is something I face every day. So lane control at roundabouts, really pay attention to what people are doing, and as ever, I'm afraid, don't trust indicators or the lack of them, because that really is not much help in this particular case. At number 5, we have stress. And what I mean by this is just don't get stressed in this particular example. Now, you're not going to find this in larger cities, but in small towns and villages, you will come across this where things are perhaps a little bit slower paced. You'll be following a car one day and the driver of the car in front actually will see somebody at the side of the road who they know. They'll wave, they'll stop, put the window down, and they'll have a chat. And this chat might last, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute, no more. And then they'll acknowledge you, and a quick wave, and a pedestrian perhaps will as well, and they'll be on their way. It's a common thing. The expectation is not that you get all upset and riled and angry and start honking your horn. I find this quite hard to get used to begin with, because having lived in the Thames Valley prior to France, where things are pretty busy, if somebody stopped in the road in front of me just to have a chat with somebody, frankly I wouldn't have been best chuffed. But here it is normal, and I've actually grown to quite like it, because it just shows that people have time for each other, and everything is just a little bit slower, and there is a level of friendliness and respect between people. So if you come across this and the car in front of you stops and the driver has a chat with somebody, just chill, don't stress, it'll be over quickly and you'll be on your way. At number 4, we have giving cyclists space. Now, you may well be aware that in France, cycling is a very popular pastime, and you will regularly see cyclists out on the road, whether it be during the week or at the weekends. Particularly at the weekends, you might find clubs out doing cycle rides, or in fact in the evenings during the week for clubs as well. And cyclists in France command quite a lot of respect on the road, actually. So unlike in the UK, where sometimes it can feel like you're taking your life in your hands if you go along a main road on a bike, here bikes are treated well, and the cyclist has every reason to believe the motorist coming along is going to pass them with a good amount of space, and if there's a car coming the other way, the car will wait for that car to come past before they pull out and pass the cyclist. And it's the way it is. It's kind of an unwritten rule, maybe it's a written rule, I don't know, but that is life in France for a cyclist is quite nice, I think, compared to life in the UK as a cyclist. So if you see somebody on a bike when you're driving along, give them space, let them be safe, and all go on your way happily. At number 3, we have indicators, but specifically on the motorway and their use there. Now, in the UK, if you're going along the motorway and somebody wants to come past you, typically what will happen is they'll come up behind you fairly fast, they'll start flashing their lights, and they'll be this close behind your bumper. This close behind your bumper bit still happens in France. Not so much, in my opinion, certainly not where we live, which is down near the Perpignan area, but we're regularly driving around between Perpignan to Montpellier to Toulouse and things, and it doesn't, happens, but it's not too bad. But what you will experience is, rather than the flashing of lights, and rather than coming up really close behind you, is the car will approach from behind, put its outside indicator on to tell you that they want to go past. And once you pull over, they will indeed go past. If they intend to stay in that outside lane, they'll actually leave that indicator on and just continue on their way. So it's a little different to the UK. It's nice. I find it a little bit gentler than somebody coming up flashing their lights at you. But that is what somebody putting their indicator on in the outside lane means on a dual carriageway motorway. They want to overtake you. At number 2. Now this one is vital for anybody who has children. Never trust a zebra crossing. Zebra crossings in France can unfortunately be a life-changing experience, and never in a positive way. They are not a mode of crossing the road that you can trust. Now, again, in the UK, typically I think people are pretty good at zebra crossings. If somebody wants to cross, they stop and people let them cross. In France, if you stand at the side of the road by a zebra crossing, you truly can be there a long time before somebody actually stops to let you cross. My message to our 3 children is zebra crossings are not safe. Do not believe for one moment that they are there to ensure that you get across the road safely and quickly, because if you think that, you could have a problem. Absolutely use them, but only use them when you know that car is going to stop. You've seen the distance, you know there's space, and ideally you have engaged eye contact with the driver so you know that they know that you're there. But truly, be very careful on zebra crossings in France. At number 1, we have my hardest one to get my head around, the give way to the right rule. Now, let me explain how this works by giving an example of the UK first of all. So, in the UK, let's assume you're driving along a main road and you've got a number of side roads coming out onto that. You expect when a car comes along a side road, they stop, they look, they check it's clear. If it's clear, they turn and continue on their way. Now in France, it can work like that, but it can also work such that one of those side roads actually has priority over you, even though you're on a road which appears to be the more major road. And the only way to really know whether this is going to happen or not is ideally because you have spent some time in that area, you know where that road is, and so you're ready and waiting for it. Or when you're driving down a road, you have to really keep your eyes open on those side turnings and look to see if there is a stop sign, a give way sign, any markings on the road, a dotted white line for give way, a solid white line for stopping, or nothing at all. Now if there's nothing at all, there is a strong chance that that road has priority over you, and you could find a car just come shooting out of there without stopping from somebody who is just going to exercise their right of priority over you. Even though to you and I, not having this rule in the UK certainly, it may appear a very dangerous thing to do. Now I experience this every day on my drive to Perpignan. I experience at least two of those. One is just around the corner from where we live. They're very common. Please take care on this priority to the right rule. With that, that is my top 9 differences on driving in France compared to the UK. I hope they are of use to you and will prepare you for your next visit to France. So with that, goodbye, have a great day.